Hey there, bunny. I wanted to spoil you today, so I decided to write a bedtime story just for you. And, well, it's based on some of my own life experiences and stuff. I didn't want it to be something that was boring, or a fairy tale that meant nothing. I know fairy tales wouldn't exactly mean nothing because it's something we share and it's something we both like. But I wanted it to be a little more personal. I wanted it to be something that you might be able to really enjoy. Bunny, I love you so much. And I know life hasn't treated us too well lately, and that's okay. It's okay to fall down sometimes, because you've got me to pick you up. And that's why I'm not so afraid like I used to be. It's why things keep getting better and better, even if it seems like they get worse and worse sometimes. I know. There's a lot of things that we both enjoy. Togetherness, and, well, stories, and I'm rambling again, but you understand. You're right, this story and stuff. I didn't want you to have any more nightmares, and instead decided I'd give you something to the best of my ability that I could help. I wanted you, and only you, to hear this story, because I thought it would make it more personal if it was handwritten for you, if it was made just for your ears and eyes. And, well, I love you so much. So, of course, I couldn't hold back. I couldn't stop myself from putting every ounce of passion I had into it. So, if you don't mind listening, I'd like to share it with you now. There once lived a very powerful wizard, but he was all alone in a place where no one went. Rumors were spread and wonderful things happened in his home, but there's never people, only other animals and creatures that lived around in the forest. But he always craved company, but he always feared it, because he kept going into towns and trying to help them with their problems, but they were almost all too afraid of him, because he was such a powerful wizard. And I know it may seem like he's a bad wizard, but he wasn't. He wasn't at all. In fact, every time he meant well. It's just he wasn't good at communicating, and, well, yes, I was that wizard. In case you didn't know, don't worry. It gets better, I promise. Well, basically, after trying to travel a bit and go to the nearby villages, eventually he decided the best way to show them that he could be trusted, the best way to save people and also save himself, was a daring and grandiose plan. You see, he was a wizard that combined a few different arts and magic. All he wanted to do was create things that could make people smile, even if he wasn't brave enough to. And so he created things, little things at first, things that could walk, then things that could talk. And he kept going back to the villages, but sadly, each time it was difficult because they shoot him off. They kept telling him, "Go home. We don't want you here." And sad things like that. But he didn't lose heart, because he knew that would happen. He knew they had never seen moving dolls or dancing trees, but he still wanted to believe that somehow they'd understand him, that somehow that gap could be bridged. So he kept creating, and he studied, and he worked so hard. And eventually he made something even more like the people he wanted around him. It may have seemed lonely, but gradually these constructs, these beautiful wonders of art, gradually became their own. And soon he was having fun times with them, even if it was subverting his original goal. He had found a lot more smiles on his face, and smiles that he could give them, the creatures and beings that accepted him. Of course, the forest wasn't too bad either. The creatures knew he was a good man, because they would sometimes come up to the house and he could feed them. It was nice to feed the deer sometimes, and to sometimes play with the squirrels. And of course, even the wolves would come over for some meals sometimes. But time and time again, he ran into this roadblock of people being convinced that the rumors about him, that he was making an army to take over the villages, no matter how much he said or how much he did, they just wouldn't believe him. So he decided to hide his workshop away, his home, for a time, until they could accept him. He hid behind his barriers, and for a while he was scared they might attack, but thankfully they didn't. Instead, it was a silence, but somehow it was comforting, because it wasn't complete silence. He could talk to his friends and give them hugs, even if they were just constructs. There was nothing about being just a construct anymore, because they had come into their own. They were so much more than just toys to be played with. They had become their own people, their own friends. It was from stuffed animals to trees with glowing personalities. There was things left and right, wonders to see, and even wonderful animal friends who could talk now. It was things that the world had never seen, because his magic was his heart, and what he always wanted was friends and people who would love him. And one day, all that love and happiness inspired him, and he decided to create one last wonderful creation. And it was one that he always desired, someone who could understand him more than just the small, loving creatures, someone who could be his equal and who could show him how to meet with the others outside, as well as to be happy within, because there was always one thing missing and he couldn't place it. But he realized that fateful day when he made his bunny. Yeah, it may sound like a bunny, but it was so much more than that. You see, Bunny was just like him, like a human, a creature that was artificial but so alive you could never tell it. And it didn't make him sad, because one's roots don't matter, is what he said. It doesn't matter where you came from. It only matters who you become, who you are in this moment. And every day he would do something nice for his lovely little bunny, and he'd give all his love, all his passion, and teach new things every day. And they'd learn together. And believe it or not, he was learning from Bunny too. Because for whatever reason, Bunny sure did know a lot about things and learned in different ways than he did. And gradually, they became so close, you could even call them true loves. But there were still difficulties. Not because of anything within, but that anxiety, that fear of outside. He would always try and take one more step towards the village, gripping Bunny's hand so hard, but he always worried about hurting Bunny. And well, after giving everything he could, eventually, it was thanks to his Bunny and his friends that they finally managed to convince and explain to the villagers. There was no army. There was nothing of the sort. It was just passion and love. And where he was bad at explaining himself, where he didn't know what to say, well, his Bunny helped, and soon everyone was getting along, and they had festivals and worked together, and now it's just one big happy city. Even if things remained largely unchanged in the forest, he made new friends and never forgot his first friends, and continued to make sure that the constructs and things that most people didn't understand were understood and had a place in the world. And well, it was all thanks to his Bunny that he was even able to talk to those other people. Because God knows how strange and terrifying other people can be. And well, that's just what you did for me, Bunny. I love you so much. And I'm so thankful to have you in my life. And I'm just so happy that I get to be the one who gets to hold you and hear you and give you all of me and get all of you. I know, Bunny, I probably don't know how to word it properly, but I love you so much. And I hope this story meant something to you, because it has a happy ending, just like our story. We go on and have so many good memories together, you know? I love you forever, my Bunny, and I won't ever change, you know, only for the better, because I couldn't have done this without you, and I never want to do it without you, my Bunny. I love you so much.